Hello, everyone. My name is Chamberlain Burke,
And I'm Devlin Burke.
and we are the C&D of the Real CD Show. And what we are going to do through this series of podcasts that we hope to do at least once a week is bring about a different perspective on bridging the gap between fans and musicians of rock music, rock and roll, and heavy metal. I will admit I am new to the rock music scene. I am a mother. And my focus in music has always been very much more doo-wop, Motown, pop music, British Invasion, and the real major chords and really clean music. And not that rock music isn't clean, it just has a perception of not being clean. And Devlin, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, I became a rock fan. I have been a rock fan my whole life. I have this memory, and I'm pretty sure it's wrong, but I have this memory of just music always playing in the house and me and my parents developing our own sign language. So I don't know. And I'm probably wrong, but I like that memory, so I'm keeping it. But it's just I too. I mean, I grew up with all kinds of music. All the music you mentioned. My father is also a rock and roll fan. And but music was just always in our house, and then I got out of it for a while. I had to deal with a personal issue, and then I missed rock and roll, and I got back into it, and it was through bands like My Chemical Romance and AFI that I realized how much I loved it and how much I missed it. I mean, Davey Havok puts the word verbose in a song, and to me that was just mind blowing. I had to go find my dictionary and look that word up. And I'm a book lover, so it was very awkward for me. And then and from that moment, it suddenly became a matter of where did this music come from? I had to relearn all the music I had been exposed to earlier in life, and that was fun. And then I learned all these little secrets, like that Iron Maiden's "The Trooper," which is one of my favorite songs, is based on a Alfred Lloyd Tennyson poem, who you don't even learn about in school.
Not anymore. No, not
and
anymore.
It was just, wait, this is based on a poem, and him on one of their albums, Screamworks, which is my favorite. He name drops Baudelaire, and so to me it was this exciting intellectual place where my mind could grow. I felt beautiful when I listened to it. Because I was bullied a lot in school. So here was a place where I felt beautiful, I felt smart. I didn't feel like I was being treated stupidly. It was, oh, you don't know this? Well, here, go read the poem and tell me what you think. And that's basically why I love it, and I want to support it, and I want to keep it alive, because I would say I like to say it's in the hospital, and every time I go visit it, another plug has been pulled.
Right, and I think what you mean by that, if I may, is music, rock music, and heavy metal is not on TV anymore. There are no music channels except the cable channels. You don't get interviews; they just play the music, which is fine. But there's no MTV, there's no VH1, there are no interview shows, there's no music news. And one of the things you and I have discussed in the past is there are really good rock bands who appear on late night TV shows, but to me they're kind of like the redheaded stepchild. It's okay, you can come out and perform the very last thing and then get out before anybody knows you're here. They never interview the rock bands, they never talk to them. They hold up the album and say, go buy this, listen to their song, and now we're going to go. And I want to stop that. I don't know why. They're okay to perform, but they're not okay to talk to. They're not okay to listen to. And one of the things that I really appreciate is my daughter held a rock and roll boot camp. And this was a couple of summers ago. And what she had done was she put Sam Dunn's Metal Evolution on the DVR and had me watch that right from the beginning. And that gave me a whole new perspective about where this music came from, because he goes all the way back to classical music, which I also like, and showed how it evolved and how it became all the different genres. And Sam Dunn, forever, I will be grateful to you for this, because it made me understand how it evolved and how it came about and where it stands. So I have a whole different appreciation for the music, not only as a fan, but as a mother. And so one of the goals of our podcasts, and we hope to do at least one a week, is to look at music, rock music, lyrics, news, things in the news, controversy, and just talk about it from the perspective of, I'm a mother, she's an adult fan, and how can this come about? I think there's some understanding that needs to happen. Not that I'm a Dr. Phil of rock music, but I want people to understand what I went through. So Devlin, can you give me for a couple of minutes and just explain your definition of rock music? What do you think constitutes rock music? And today, I mean, I know historically you can go back years, but just tell what do you think is rock music?
Well, to me, what I consider rock music is who wrote the song and the musicality of it. When I see a band name following the right underneath the title, that says to me, it's almost like when your boyfriend makes you a handwritten letter, writes you a handwritten letter, or makes you something. It's personal. It's more precious.
It's almost intimate.
It is. It's very intimate. And then there is that raw guitar sound, and I love the underlying themes of you hate your boss, you can't wait till Friday so you can spend the weekend hanging out with your favorite rock bands, just listening to music and getting away for a while. And you know, I remember Sebastian Bach said on one time back when VH1 Classic was good, they were talking about rock and roll and heavy metal, and Sebastian Bach said what was typical of your life was you were born, you went to school, you went to college, you got a job, you got married, you had 2 kids and a dog, and then you just waited to die. And still Sebastian Bach said, that didn't sound like fun. I wanted to rock and roll all night and party every day. and that was where I was. I want adventure. I want fun, and I want everything that rock and roll music talks about. It talks about all those things, so to me, it's that songwriting, and it's just that rawness. That guitar is like a punch in the gut when you hear it. It's like, thank you, I wanted that freedom. And so that to me is my definition. Chamberlain, since you're still relatively new and are still learning, why don't you tell our viewers what your definition has become?
Well, I will admit, having, as I said, growing up on the Temptations and the Four Tops, I'm very used to performers coming out in suits with standard moves, some dance moves and really clean cut, and all American or all British or all Australian or all Canadian, whatever it was. So initially, my jaded perspective was people in t-shirts, long hair, dirty, sweaty, guitar music, noise, which is what parents usually say. But thanks to, my daughter and Devlin and Sam Dunn, I have a new appreciation, and I look at this differently. And one of the things I remember I watched, did you see the Oprah's masterclass that John Bon Jovi did?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, one of the things that really struck me was when he said he went to his parents and correct me if I'm wrong, and he said, I don't want to go to college, I want to do this. And they said, okay, which is what every parent would never do in their lives. And they wanted that, get married, get a job, get married, have 2 kids, and so for a parent in the, just a few years ago to say, you know what, son, we'll support you and we'll back you, and look at what he's done and look at what he's accomplished and look at what he has, it gives me a completely different perspective. And so my initial definition of rock music was not good. And But now I'm learning, and I'm still open, and um, finding out there's a lot of musicality, like you said, the history, the different things that they put into it. And I have a new perspective that it's mature, that there's a lot of guitar, there's a lot of drums, and there is noise, but if you listen past that and get past your um, preconceived idea that, oh, this is noise, then you can really listen and appreciate what goes on in there. So what we're trying to do, and what we're hoping to do long term, is bridge the gap between fans and musicians. We'd love to get to the point where we have an interview show on the radio, on TV, public TV, I don't care, where we can take fan questions, where we can work with fans, but where we can interview musicians and really find out and give them an opportunity to tell the public what they want to know, because that's not happening on TV. And I think a lot of what happens on TV is very restricted. When you go on a late night TV show or a daytime TV show, you've got about 8 minutes. And then it's like, oh, tell us about your album, and tell us about this, and let's play a game, and let's do this, and you're not getting to the meat of what your guest has to say. So a couple of people have reached out to us on Twitter and asked us to review their music, which we welcome. So if you're a band and you'd like some creative perspective on your music, reach out to us and let us know. As I said, I'm still a mother, but I'm an emerging, learning rock person. I have a huge appreciation. I've been to a lot of concerts already. I still have a lot more to go. We're going to see the Scorpions on the 25th in Albuquerque, New Mexico. And so we're looking forward to going to see that. And we'll do a podcast and tell you what it's like. So we really hope that you'll reach out to us and give us an opportunity. You'll listen to what we have to say. We want to bring you some, news of what's going on, some controversy, some tour stuff, whatever we can find out where we can give you a slightly different perspective.
Yeah. I personally, I just want to see my rock band. How can you go and promote yourself in one song and not talk about your song, your tour, your album? You just perform the song and it's okay, go check them out. That doesn't work, especially for a newcomer like you. You want to know more. You need a little more meat than just, oh, here's the song, now go.
Right, because that might not be the song that gets me.
Mm-hmm.
I need to hear more.
Yeah.
So I'm still learning, but I'm open to learning. So.
And my goal is I just love music and I want to support it. And I do want to stress one thing, is that even though Chamberlain is new, we are fans and we really love this music. We don't want it to go away. We want to keep it going as long as possible. Please, when you comment on our video, please give us some constructive criticism, ask us questions. We're more than receptive to it. But I just want to stress that we are fans and we do love this music. We're not trying to make fun of it. We're not trying to knock it down or anything like that. We just want to be, we're kind of like signing up for the battle to keep it alive.
And we want to help. We want to be heard, and we want to help. So anyway, thank you very much for listening. Check us out and give us your questions and comments, and we look forward to seeing you next week.
Yep. Follow us on Twitter at The Real CD Show. The link will be in our description. Subscribe, like, comment, tell your mom, tell your dad, tell your dog, retweet, whatever you do. And thank you again so much for listening to us.
Thank you very much, and we'll see you next week. Bye.